Namaste und welcome to today's Love Satsang with a topic that is very currently, I feel, in the field and has been in the field over the past years, which is that of the spirituality that is the show off performance versus the spirituality that is actually integrated, grounded, and lived in everyday life. And most probably humanity has faced that over and over again. But I feel, especially with this journeying of the collective into more open consciousness and where spiritual tools become much more available also, here on YouTube, like endless. You can just type also in Google or ChatGPT and find anything and everything also related to spirituality, that it is so available that actually you can find much information, and a lot of people with a lot of knowledge and information. But the question is, how many of us, yeah, I'm just including all of us, how many of us have have not only studied something, but also integrated it fully into our entire being so that it is not just something we learn, but also something we embody. So today is about embodied spirituality, which is also a buzzword a little bit, embodiment. Everything is about embodiment nowadays because, of course, more and more people also notice, like, I don't know, it's nice to go to a workshop. It's nice to, go on a retreat or do a session. But once I'm at home, something shifts, something changes. Somehow maybe the first days you're euphoric and you're still uplifted from the energy of something that you went through. Yeah, when you went through a retreat, a workshop, a session, or even a training yourself. And then it's like slowly going back into your own routines, into your habits, maybe first with a beautiful mindset of, I want to integrate it into my practices, into my everyday life. But the sneaky comfort zone, the sneakiness of the automatism of the used habits oftentimes come in if there is not discipline and really the determination, the willingness, the consistency in integrating something new. So today I would love to share some of my contemplations, some of my thoughts, and whatever comes through me today, as always, about this topic, embodied spirituality. What does it mean to live in an embodied way, spirituality? Because actually, spirituality is not separate from everyday life, but we have made it separate in a way, put it in a box of meditating people, of yogis, of gurus, there's somehow still a collective box that is lingering in our subconscious, maybe, or for some. So it's oftentimes separated, but embodied spirituality means actually seeing all of life as spiritual. So coming back maybe to the term first, embodiment. And embodiment, very simply put, as a name suggests also, I always call it in the body, to bring it in the body. I mean, we have different bodies, if you know the koshas from yogic philosophy or other philosophies that include subtle bodies that we cannot see. What I mean, especially, these are also included, but what I mainly mean here is embodiment in the physical dimension, in our dimension here now. And physical means therefore also to make it felt in your senses and for others felt in your field. Embodiment is in the body, bringing spirituality in the body, integrating it, grounding it, anchoring it, and not making it a mental concept, but letting it root down deeper into something that you transmit as a frequency, even when once you've embodied it. Embodied spirituality then is to also include your nervous system. Your nervous system I will speak about maybe also at some later point, but if we are too much in concepts, in systems, in the mental realm of spirituality, or even just like the consumption of something, like, okay, I'm listening to something, I'm watching something, I'm scrolling through something, I'm reading something. It's all consumption. It's a little bit more the passive way of receiving, which is one part very important. And embodiment comes more into the practical aspects of living and breathing spirituality, not studying it anymore, but applying it, not, staying stuck in, I know it, I can talk about it, I can explain it to someone else, maybe in my own words, or even, sharing about it online, but also to make it as an integral part of your everyday life. Not just in these small slots, but extended, expanded, even in the most simplest tasks of brushing your teeth, of eating, of meeting friends, of you name it, like making spirituality spread throughout your entire cosmos, your entire world, all life areas. And what I speak also into now is a little bit of this, what we see a lot with social media increasingly, is this spiritual show off compared or in contrast to spiritual embodiment. Some, yes, they embody it and they use it as, okay, I want to share what helped me. And others, on the other hand, so we always have light and dark, obviously. We have the shadow aspect and the light aspect. And the shadow aspect is, recording the most sacred rituals, which should, I feel, in my opinion, be kept sacred and secret. To have your phone out at the first instance when you give a workshop, or when you attend a workshop or whatever. And yes, there's one way of using it in a passionate way of sharing, of really wanting people to see, to know, to expand their horizon. And then there is a shadow side of actually making things more about yourself, or someone making it more about themselves, about validation, about being seen as someone, having a title, a label, being well known, being public, being international, being someone out there in the spiritual scene. So these are the two ways I want to sharpen your awareness, your discernment, where you currently stand and where also others currently stand. And even, when you have this now in more in your consciousness, to see the people, for example, you follow, are these really the ones who walk the talk, so to say, or are these the ones actually they more in the category of, yes, they explain it very nicely, they explain it perfectly, they can put it in a great scene, they are great personalities in their energy, but something may feel off if it's not lived through. And sometimes it's also, if you see someone online and if you meet someone offline, it can be also completely different. Like sometimes online, maybe someone is really captivating your view, your attention. You see something in them, and once you're going to them, I'm talking, for example, to someone you see, you want to attend a workshop, and you experience this person outside of the sphere of social media, maybe you feel completely different because they have not integrated what they teach. They have not only in the depth studied, but sometimes actually spirituality is not talking about it or being trained in it, like having a certificate, but it is going through experiences that serve as initiation. The ones who have embodied what they teach First of all, they will mostly speak about what they actually know. Yeah. So what they have gone through themselves. And when they come to a point of actually, I haven't experienced it, I don't know much about it, I maybe have only read about it, heard about it, they will stop teaching about it. They will have the humbleness of saying, I'm not at that point that I want to, because we have a responsibility of sharing, yeah, of sharing what we know, or of how we live spirituality if we share it with others. So they stop because they feel the responsibility of, if I share something that I have not my own proof, so to say, then it's not responsible. So just your discernment about the show off and the embodied state of being with yourself and with others. Yeah. So we have a split in humanity, and it's, as always, I come back to that. I feel in almost any transmission, it's no judgment. It's just a pointing out and sharpening your awareness to what comes in your field. Yeah, because sometimes deception can lead you to something where you feel first drawn to, and then at the next moment it's like, actually something feels fishy about it. I feel I know actually more than that person, or I have experienced more, and that person is transmitting something in a distorted way. And that's why also distortions circulate. Yeah, if a lot of people follow someone who has big charisma, yeah, people with big charisma can talk a lot and draw people in. But if they share something that is distorted, distortion circulates in our collective field. Yeah, so easy can it happen that truth gets distorted. What is truth is another question, because actually we all are running with filters and with a certain degree of illusion around. But at least to have the humbleness and the honesty and the heart to share from a truth based, authentic self, the version of yourself that is not seeking validation, that is not wanting to convert someone into some religion or spiritual tribe. The person that is not going out and wanting everyone on their side, the person that, yeah, just also leaves everyone the space to decide for themselves what is right for them and what is actually also part of their journey. Yeah, the show off, as the name actually already suggests, is a little bit more that person on stage, that person that acts, that person where you, if you have sharpened your sense already, where you feel this doesn't feel authentic. This feels nice and beautiful, and yes, somehow the words land, but maybe they are just words, a repetition of something you've read somewhere else. It's not mm, a human level authenticity. Yeah, sometimes it's like first impression, and if you look closer, it could be like, that is somehow not resonating with my heart. And I feel humanity is coming back to that, especially also with AI now coming into the field, that not even only human beings transmit, but also avatars, virtual avatars transmit something. Discernment is even more important, to feel into your own soul, into your own truth. Does that really resonate with my path? Or does it distract me? Does it motivate, uplift, help me really to find my true essence and support me on the journey? Or does it drain my energy? Does it actually feel like I have a broken mirror in front of me where I cannot look inside because I'm on the path of truth? So at some point, those people will naturally come into your awareness and fall away. Also in your environment. I mean, it doesn't always need the social media scene, but I'm speaking into that so much because it's where a lot of people seek information. Yeah, a lot of people seek information on online nowadays, and online they find the ones where they go offline. So yeah, coming back to embodiment, embodied spirituality. So discernment, use discernment to see who embodies what they teach. And yes, of course, we are all learning. So I'm not saying there's a perfection of embodied spirituality, because sometimes also there something slips, although you are the yeah the one super trained in something. Still, there are human traits of diverting from that path, maybe that someone has walked, and that's their teachings, that's their new initiations, maybe. So embodied or embodiment is also a lifelong journey. It's not complete, obviously. There's always something more to embody, to integrate, to ground. So embodiment is when spirituality is not only a mind game, but it is dropping down into your system. So it becomes a living and breathing beingness, way of being, way of living of yourself. So that, yeah, in a way, actually, you don't talk so much about, okay, this is my life and this is spirituality, or these are the spiritual people and these are the not so spiritual people, or I am in spirituality and this person is not in spirituality. You don't separate it anymore. Embodied is inclusion. It is inclusion into life, and also actually seeing others also as spiritual beings, because we all are. We all are. There's no distinction other than we are on different paths, we have different perspectives, we have different life themes that we explore, and some feel more obviously on the spiritual journey, like awakening, ascension, kundalini awakenings, being interested in these topics. Yeah, it's more naturally drawn to it because their soul chose to be in this level of the game. And others maybe not, but maybe it also just doesn't look outside like this. Someone who is passionate about surfing or passionate about gardening can be deeply spiritual because they have a different approach to it. They are immersed in one passionate hobby or experience, or dedicate their heart to sewing, or yeah, creating something, building something, and that's just a different approach. Spirituality also nowadays is often linked to what I just named, ascension and awakening, or awakening, remembrance. Let's put it in the right order. For me, it's always like a remembrance, awakening, ascension. So you start asking questions, you remember things, you have glimpses into the truth. You're slowly awakening, and through awakening, the staircase of the awakening is ascension. It's the ascension process, and we oftentimes imagine it's like going up, raising your consciousness, like as if it is a hierarchy. And that is one beautiful way for the mind to grasp this awakening process. And at the same time, if we only go up, if we see here the earth and we only go upwards, like 5 dimension and above, like higher chakras, it's floatiness. It's the floatiness of some people that are more in the old paradigm of transcendence. And I've been at a stage also where I was there questioning so many spiritual teachings. Yeah, I'm coming, especially from the yogic perspective, are about transcending the physical dimension, your body, your senses, your desires. Yeah, and also Buddhism, for example, has a lot this topic of, yeah, when we are on earth there is suffering and you have to detach yourself, and yeah, we are on that journey to nirvana where suffering stops, just very plain. So I was questioning at that point, why are we incarnated then? Just to come here to go back again to like work through things and then actually not enjoy what we have here. And that didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. And it is also not our time quality, in my opinion, where it goes into transcendence, but more so into embodiment. And embodiment is actually, so if we have transcendence is more the ascension path, and the descension going back down again is embodiment. We need both. I'm not saying we shouldn't go there. We need both. It's kind of like, I feel, that's my contemplation, at least my reflection, like going on a hill, but then bringing the knowledge you gain from the hill down again, or integrate them. I mean, we have different multiple hills during our lifetime in a way, but if we simplify it, like ascension to a certain point and then to integrate it, or like have a new insight, integration, insight, integration, insight, integration, because otherwise you're spiraling upwards without integration. You have a lot of knowledge, you're exploding, you're floating somewhere, you're open here in your crown chakra, wide open, but there's nothing to land. You're here, you're like zoned out in a way in your own world. And I know this feeling is beautiful. And also, I had to learn, okay, actually, it's not only here, we are here. A lot of our souls chose to be here to go far and high, but also to bring that down. And that's where this terminology or this wording comes from, to bring heaven to earth, bringing heaven to earth, to expand our consciousness so vastly, and to travel also through higher dimensions, to gain insights, to have glimpses of the truth, to know who we are in essence, or understand it at least at some subtle level, and to then embody that, what we experience somewhere else, so to say. Yeah, to bring 5D into 3D. It's not, oh, we are leaving this plane. No, it's merging, it's balancing, it is equaling all dimensions and not judging the other better than something else. Yeah, not judging, not categorizing, but equaling them and seeing the beauty and benefit of all of it. Ascension, descension, both is necessary to really live spirituality in an embodied way. Spirituality embodied. Embodied spirituality is ascending and descending in harmony, in balance. That's my view of it. And that already somehow maybe make something click inside of you, because some people, and that is maybe just a phase also, it's totally fine, always want more, higher, higher, higher. Yeah, that's a little bit the spiritual ego we can name here also kicking in. The same with the show-offs on social media. Yeah, pretending to be someone or wanting to be seen, validated, better, further ahead of someone. The spiritual ego that kicks in, sneaks its way in. Then it doesn't bring anyone anything, not yourself, no one else, and not for your happiness here on this planet. Because if you're stuck there, all other dimensions are beautiful, but haven't mastered your own body, like how you move, how you breathe, how you eat, how you walk. Yeah, it sounds funny maybe, but sometimes it's the case that people lose touch of even taking care of themselves, like taking a shower, eating properly, yeah, touching themselves. All of that is also necessary. And that's why I feel a lot is this buzzword embodiment in the field, because people notice, unconsciously or consciously, I feel ungrounded. I feel my nervous system is in alert all the time. Yeah, not in rest and digest, but more in the fight, flight, freeze state. I notice that I lost touch with my body, or that I don't even have contact with people anymore. And then this comes into research about emotional release techniques, embodiment practices, grounded spirituality, nature, also habits, routines integrated in your daily life. All of these are tools that are helpful to ground spirituality, embody spirituality. And we can also say it's maybe even a paradox sometimes, but we are already embodied. The soul is already here in our body, incarnated. And we are spiritual beings also. We are already that. But to not only have it as a concept, understood as a concept, but to really embody it is something completely different. You will feel the difference. I come back to the very beginning. You will feel the difference if you meet someone who can have a nice talk about spirituality, and you can meet someone who doesn't even need to say a single word, and you feel like, wow, this person has spiritual power. Has activated spiritual power. We all have spiritual power. Has activated, integrated, grounded spiritual power just by being in their field, just by their energy, their vibration. Yeah, and that's fascinating, in my opinion, that even in the energetic signature, you can vibrate in what you have integrated, what you embody. So energy we can count in the subtle layers to embodiment, not only the physical, but also your aura, your energy field around you, what it does when you enter a room, what it does when you look someone into the eyes, when you give someone a touch or a hug. What does it do to people? And that is for me also the capacity you already have to hold your own spiritual power. We all have spiritual power again. But embodied spirituality is to activate it inside of your being. And I don't know if I had this in one other transmission, but as I see it, we all bear codes of wisdom, of truth inside of us. Some are dormant, some are already activated, some are about to activate in this lifetime, and some remain dormant. Yeah, and we as people, we ignite each other to activate these dormant codes, to remember who we truly are. So in a way, the more of these codes are activated, the more you can live yourself fully, truly, authentically, and remember your true essence. So an embodied person, an embodied spiritual person, is someone who has an integrated humanness and divineness, so to say. Yeah, the divine and the human is merged as one. The soul inhabits the body fully. And that's one also of my major signature tools. Soul embodiment, as I see it, is the soul fully inhabits this physical vehicle it's moving through, as if each and every cell of your body is breathing and the frequency of your soul, of that incarnation. Yeah, your soul is vast, but in this incarnation, it has this very specific signature. And that's fascinating. And that, as you may, feel already, it is not only about shadow work and chakra activation and kundalini and so forth. It's all part of this curiosity to explore. But actually what all of these lead to, in my opinion at least, is soul embodiment. Remembering your truth, remembering especially your current incarnation, what is your purpose, what is your soul's evolution in this lifetime, what are your life themes therefore, to activate these codes, and also the people, why you meet them, and so forth. So in that sense, spirituality becomes also something much more, bringing soul and human, or divine and human, together. And then we can again have the ascension process is more so about divinity, of remembering your divinity, that you are a spark of the divine, And the descension process is more so, okay, I have remembered a part of myself. How can I channel it down into my body? Continued process. I remember some form of my truth, some aspect of my truth, my divinity. I'm grounding it down into my being. I'm integrating it. I'm anchoring it. I'm remembering another point of, or another aspect of myself, often built on the first one. I'm grounding it into my being. That's a wave. So ascension, my opinion, is half of the truth. For embodied spirituality, we need both ascension and descension, and that's going in waves. And some waves may be very short, some waves may be very slow. I mean, in terms of the physical time dimension in human terms, like, okay, this is maybe takes just a month, or this takes multiple years, or this takes your whole lifetime. So the frequency is different, and also different for everyone of us. Ascension and descension. That's embodied spirituality, the path of embodied spirituality. And I invite you, as always, to also look into your own self and be very honest with yourself where you currently stand on this, in this topic, in regards to this topic, embodied spirituality. How and how far do you practice what you study, what you learn, what you listen to, what you watch, where you maybe even have a training in or certificate? Or if you anticipate, I would love to study this, or I would love to be trained in this, and how far, or why, first of all, and then how far does that fit actually your embodied incarnated self? What is it that, why is it so catching for your soul and your service to the collective? And how to actually also authentically share through your being, through your words, through how you move through life, whether it's in your smaller circle around friends, family, and so forth, or on the more public stage, social media, or even as a facilitator. Because, I mean, I don't want to make it dramatic, but in a way, we have responsibility for how we interact, responsibility, how we show up, and also for ourselves, because we feel the more you are, at least, the more ego you have dropped, the more you have aligned to your truth, to your soul, the more you will also feel for yourself, in this moment, actually, I have not been very authentic to myself or to someone else. And that doesn't feel nice, because your soul always draws you back, pushes you sometimes back to truth. If you're on that path to living your most authentic essence, of course, anytime the ego sneaks in, another part of you, yeah, ego with the soul, we have this a lot of times. Another part of you will feel it, will feel the discrepancy, will feel maybe a mismatch between your, yeah, what you actually know, what you're capable of, and what you showed in a specific moment. Yes, sometimes it's maybe due because of health issues, emotional fluctuations, and still it's a learning field, always. Always a learning field to see how embodied, and for me, embodied also means authentic and true to yourself and to your own life philosophy. How embodied am I now already in specific situations, in specific circles? Or where do I put on a mask? Embodied, like I said, for me, it's connected with authenticity. Authenticity. And masks have no place in that. Masks will at some point feel very heavy for yourself, will feel even like, I want to get rid of it. Yeah, if you're at that point. because collectively, that's also the time quality. We want to meet heart to heart and soul to soul, and not mask to mask, not ego to ego. Because ego to ego, mask to mask is distortion, is fighting, is conflict, is, you name it, all of the shadow side. And what we long for, what our souls came here for, is to return back to the truthful interactions, the truth based, conscious, relating templates and patterns in any type of relation, including family, friends, partnership, of course, but also anyone you meet on the street. And it starts always, as of course, with yourself. We are all called to be honest with ourselves. Do I embody what I know? Or do I just talk about it? Or do I hide from it? That's another layer. Some people talk about it, go out, but don't embody it. And some people actually hide themselves. They don't share, they don't open their body to being a transmission for others to remember to. So in a way, also this ascension descension arc is coming from mental concepts where we understand something to the body, to a practical application, to sharing, transmitting it through your being. And I feel in the past, several years now, humanity has been very much, and it is a valid phase and was an important phase, has been in the phase of the mental concepts, and more came into the practical tools. Mental concepts plus practical tools need consistent, disciplined application, so it becomes at some point an automatic mechanism inside of you so that you can embody it. Because embodiment shouldn't feel like a burden or something you really have to fight for to do it, but should be a natural state of being where you don't even have to think about it. It becomes your vibration, your state of being, your lived reality. So concepts and tools, practices, trainings, all of them very important. But the next stage is equally important, to integrate it, to ground it, to embody it. And that's where we are now at the edge, if we see it collectively evolutionary, that we are at this edge of, we have so many concepts, we have so many tools, so many actually also new combinations where people mix and merge tools to make something new. We have all of this. This is an abundance. We have an abundance of it. So people, what I notice, including also myself, is coming back to simplicity. Coming back to simplicity with this vastness of information, of tools, of techniques, and one person says this and the other this, and I have this. Currently, I'm going through, for example, currently you're going through whatever XYZ, and you're researching, you're going to workshops, whatever, and you have so many tools and concepts, and that one person says this, one person says this. At some point, your system will be overloaded, sometimes maybe even confused. And then comes your discernment of, okay, how can I simplify, bring it down to what actually works for me? So they have shared what works for them, but what is true for myself? What do I really feel drawn to try out, to apply in my own life and see, and maybe sometimes trial and error and cycling and going sometimes in this direction to just find the other direction. But in essence, it's simplification, what people look for. Not to have the fanciest whatever. Because I feel like this has become kind of, it's it's natural that it became more and more fancy in the spiritual scene because everyone wanted to be unique, and it's in a way also a marketing tool to have something very special that no one else has, and that's valid and that's beautiful also because we are all here for our uniqueness. And at the same time, it brings so much abundance and diversity into the field that each and everyone is called to find their own resonance point and bring it, simplifying in doubt, to your own life. Simplification. And then maybe instead of all the tools you learned, you find one single tool that works for you. Because it's not about the tools you know or the knowledge you have, but about, is it actually bringing me forth on my path? Is it fulfilling me? Is it feeling right and authentic for my own being? Is it in alignment with my values? Yeah, all these considerations, to have them also in your awareness. It's not about the tools, not about the knowledge per se. It's also about your own individual journey, always and again. Always and again. Because I know there are marketing mechanisms in place where the spiritual ego and also the shadow side of spirituality sneaks in their way of selling you something, just in, yeah, with kind of like the marketing psychology, through marketing psychology, to lure you into something. And that maybe you're learning to come back to yourself and see, like, is this actually what I feel? Yeah, intuition above logic. What I feel drawn to, what I feel would help me, what would bring more happiness, joy, fulfillment, health, partner, whatever you're seeking right now into my life. And sometimes it's maybe also a complete no to everyone and anything, and just say, like, oh, I need a detox from social media, I need a detox from life. I just go out in nature, sit there, observe the waterfall or the flowers, or, yeah, immerse myself into the purity of life and have my own realizations without all the tools. That is also something people come back to. Nature is a great teacher, as we know, and nature is never distorted, only our perception of it. But nature itself, it's never distorted. Transmitters, the people who transmit their teachings, their tools, they are always slightly distorted. Of course, the more someone is in alignment with, yeah, the divine in service, really, not from their own purposes, but seeing themselves as a service oriented person, so to say, like, I'm here with my gifts and talents to serve the larger collective, then yes, the more that is in place, the more there's trust, there is safety also, therefore. But if someone has just recently graduated from one teacher training and calls themselves a guru in that topic, that is questionable. That's questionable. So, again, use your discernment with that, what helps you. And embodied spirituality is also discernment. What brings you back here to this earth? After flying high, what is integration? What is grounding? What is nervous system regulation? What is stabilizing? What is simplifying? All these questions you can ask yourself. So, yeah, this is something for you to try out. Okay. Coming to the chat again. So, in this chat, existence seems fragile, pathetic, irrelevant, useless. Not in the depressive way, but in a knowing way, trapped. Yes, you speak into something that I feel a lot of people on the spiritual path, and a lot of seekers for the truth, and a lot of those remembering their true nature of bliss, light, abundance, everything is just peace and love. There's a sort of melancholy, I would call it, a melancholy of, or yearning, a longing inside of us, of many of us, wanting this state of being, wanting to feel that there's a seed of remembrance, and therefore that triggers that longing for home. Home, not here, but home, home. Just merging back into pure energetic, into the vast field where we have no name for. That's intrinsic, somehow a seed. And for some, the seed is more vibrating than for others. So some who are, I would say, maybe not in the incarnation for that, or in an automatism, programmed, conditioned. Some are here for this. Yeah, working, just working and eating and sleeping, more the primal baseline of being a human. But once you are on the Maslow pyramid a little bit higher, that starts kicking in, especially in the time where we feel like so much is happening in humanity that doesn't feel like what I long for, this home place. And that is exactly this longing, as I see it, this melancholy, or this what may sometimes manifest as depression, as not feeling as if you want to interact or do anything, that you just want to be in your own space, that you're not motivated and so forth. That shows up because then the seed comes in, the longing, as a mechanism. I see it as a mechanism, divine mechanism, to motivate you again. Yeah, sometimes where you know this feeling, you feel like you've done everything, you're motivated, and then something kicks in from existence, like how people treat each other, again, some news breaking up and so forth, where you feel like, I cannot do anything. Yeah, this distorted view of I cannot change anything. You cannot help everyone, but your energy is needed, necessary, valid, important. And this longing, which the shadow side is like everything doesn't make sense because I know what is true. So why I am here? Yeah, it's the light and shadow aspect of it. The longing, again, my perspective, is a little bit, if I have it in images, like the carrot of a donkey in front of a wagon. Yeah, to keep you going. Because what also comes after this phase of longing, and it will always slip in, but oftentimes, waves. But it oftentimes also comes at some point with kind of like a reward of opening to a grander view of existence. And the soul doesn't judge. Yeah, it's the humanness of us that feels like existence is nonsense or doesn't make sense at the moment, or of feeling this longing and melancholy and wanting to shut down from existence. The soul uses it plus the longing to experience existence, shadow and light, and keep this human avatar going, your system. Because oftentimes also we switch between, like, we have a phase or maybe a moment, doesn't need to be long, can be long, of this apathy or pathetic or fragile or irrelevant state of being, to then have in this deep sadness and grief and anger to have the most, or the deepest connection with the divine. Because actually also what it is, in a way, when I feel into it, it's a contraction, like the depression state is a contraction which turns you inwards and therefore opens you up. The expansion happens on the other side to the divine. So while we feel contracted in this dimension, and therefore also arc to embodied spirituality, we feel contracted to embody actually ourselves. We maybe refuse our body. Eating disorders and so forth come in. Addictions come in. In these dark phases, so more we can, or invited are, sometimes pushed are, into the openness of, I let my heart break so much open that the light comes in and shines through each and every cell again. That may be a phase, most probably. How long is the question? As I am one with Source, I feel this existence is a waste of time. And yes, we are greater than this, and I don't see the point. I feel I was deceived or tricked into this existence. Like nonsense. Yeah, I feel I feel what you mean. And it's totally valid. And it's also a smart way of seeing it from your human mind already. Like as if like I didn't want to come here, but something, not someone, but something made me come nevertheless. I know this feeling as well. If that helps already. Yeah, you're not alone in this feeling. Like being trapped. And that may be part also of this realization journey. A phase where you're like, yeah, I feel like this is restricting, or this is ridiculous. Like the emotions I feel are ridiculous because this is not me. The challenges I go through is ridiculous because this is not me. The limitations around me is not me because I'm everything. That's the ridiculous moment, I call it. And the nonsense moment, yes. And maybe some others also who watch the replay have this feeling sometimes. We are allowed to feel that, first of all, because I feel a lot of people don't really talk about it. They feel like they talk more about, okay, come over it, go through it. These are the tools that may help you. No, it's also about just sit with that feeling or this perception and just bath in it. And at some point, it may switch to like, okay, I'm here now, so let's make the most of it. How do we make the most of it? At least on my journey also, it was a switch in from taking everything too serious and like, okay, shadow work, and I'm doing this now, and yeah, being very rigid on something, into like opening up to more humor and childlike play. And I had this, I think, in the last transmission or somewhere, to invite the inner child again and see like, okay, nothing is really important, and there is a paradox of everything makes sense and everything is nonsense. Let's play with it. Let's play with it and find others to play with in that sense. And yes, leaving may be an option, but your soul is here now, is incarnated. So there's a purpose. Some deeper purpose maybe is yet to be discovered. And the purpose already is also asking these questions, reflecting on yourself, vibrating, existing. And then what comes in also, what I want to mention here, is to be aware of, yeah, it becomes sometimes a bit mind tricky for the human mind. You are the divine. So who is now questioning what? Which instance of yourself is talking through the words or having these thoughts or feeling these feelings? The divine that you are wanted to experience itself through you as the soul in this body you are currently in. So it asks itself now on a human level, what is this? This is nonsense. I want to leave. I want to go home. But on another level, beyond that, is still the vibration of the divine that wanted to make exactly that experience. It's a huger, larger theme I don't want to open, but also in play comes this question, why is there suffering? Why is there war? Why is there like people against each other? Why is there death and so forth? On a higher level, again, there's no distinction between black and white, right and wrong, up and down, here and there. It all is. That's it. It's all is. And existence, I mean, existence is everything. No matter if you are an animal, a plant, a human being, all of it is existence. And yeah, maybe it helps already to keep reflecting on this. You are the divine, and the divine wanted to experience itself through being embodied. To bridge our topic, embodied spirituality is purpose of incarnation. In a way, it's the purpose of incarnation. It's easy to say, just let's float back. I feel it's for some even easier to say, yeah, being highly connected. For them, being in the body is difficult. And many people have difficulties with this physical body. Yeah. Also the fitness scene we can bring in here. Yeah. Some people training hardcore because they are not content, or like operating themselves because they are not content. Like the body embodiment has been always an issue, because as non or not having a body on the divine level is making us restricted and limited and condensed and contracted in some form. And then it's playing about, I can expand myself into the vastness and the vast ocean of the divine, and I can contract myself again into these dimensions where I have limitations in that sense. Yeah. So for this, sometimes it is interesting to reflect all. So maybe one tool, just to round this off, because I don't want to dive too deep into that. Whenever, to make it broader for the audience, whenever you are feeling you don't want to be embodied, you don't want to be in the body, you don't want to be here on earth, to write down all your thoughts without filter, without shutting yourself down. Be angry, be sad, be furious, whatever comes up in your system, write it down, dance it out or shake it off, or like do something where you get into your body, or maybe you have some kind of sport you like, anything that's related to your body. Maybe also a walk in nature, or run, better yet, in nature, or punching against the pillow. There are so many tools coming into your body. And then after that, sitting for some moments, breathing in eyes closed meditation, just breathing. And then reading your words again, your own words that you wrote, and reflecting if something has changed and how you feel. Yeah, it's an own reflection on the body, on an embodied way. And I can just plant the seed, so to say, that it's a phase where we feel disconnected from the body, where we feel disconnected from the body, and therefore tap into spirituality that's coming in with the transcendence. And then it needs to happen. The switch of transcendence is not the goal of spirituality. It is rising and grounding, ascending, descending, in this time quality especially, walking. And what happens then actually? If we have this image of heaven to earth, divine on earth, because what contributes feeling this, I don't want to be here, this feeling of I don't want to be in this body here, incarnated, contributing is how the world currently operates. And many souls of us, again, have chosen to change that, to bring back love and truth to this planet, to change how this earth vibrates, yeah, and which frequency it vibrates. And then heaven, 5D consciousness on earth, is in a way seen as bringing that what we long for, what we have as a seed, as I said, this longing for home, to not only have it in a transcendental state out of the body, but to ground it in. So that's a larger view of embodied spirituality, that not only you practice what you teach and preach and talk about, but that when we all do this, or more and more do this, we create a collective field of embodied wisdom. Yeah, little lights lighting up, creating a grid work network around the earth, anchoring this 5D frequency, or however you want to call it, home frequency. That's the purpose. And then I would argue at some point, maybe not in this lifetime for us, yeah, at some point again, because we are cycling, yeah, humanity is always cycling or oscillating between what I already also mentioned in some other transmissions, between forgetting and remembering. When we remember everything, not everything, but like the majority of the truth, and have anchored it here in our bodies, on Earth, on this planet, life is totally different. And we will most probably, as I feel, not think about, I feel restricted, I feel limited, I want to leave, but we will rather feel of, oh, let's explore, let's enjoy, let's play, let's indulge. Yeah, food, touch, name it. So maybe also invitation, whatever tiny thing excites your soul, motivates you, brings you a smile, a joy on your face, to make it bigger in your life, to invite more of that in your life, to allow yourself to feel more of it, to counterbalance. Because embodiment, of course, is difficult if these thoughts, if this belief system dominates. And then everything that brings you into the body, movement, touch, breath, sound, will help to bring you from the mind conceptual thinking and even transcendental meditative states into this body, to just feel, to not think, to sense, to not philosophize and analyze. And that said, that is today's transmission about embodied spirituality. I think so many things touched again, as always. Sometimes I am, but all is interconnected. And if a single thing you're taking away, I would love for anyone watching the replay, especially, also to comment what you take home with you. That would be very interesting, and what you want to integrate and practice in your own life. Because watching is one thing, listening to it is one thing, and of course, living by it, embodying it, is the part that we are all here to learn and to grow from. Thank you so much, as always, and we see each other hopefully in the next transmission of the Love Satsang. Until then, much love and much bliss.